guys.
We
This
back.
is the legal framework that goes into becoming a secure party
Pay
creditor
attention.
or state national. All right, step one, reorganize your all caps name into a private trust. You will replace the government as first trustee. The government gets booted out of that position. You'll need a second trustee in case you pass away early. This would be the person you would want to inherit your trust. At least one beneficiary will also be identified. You'll separate yourself from your all caps name in this first step. This is how you take your existing trust out of the public and into the private. Here in the USA, your all caps name trust becomes a transmitting utility, aka a vessel in commerce, for you to utilize so you can interact with the world of business and government. But you personally change into a non-resident alien. Doing this takes you out of maritime admiralty jurisdiction, where you have citizenship. You are a citizen of a ship at sea, subject to the law of the sea. And this process places you back into common law, law of the land, whereby you are only liable for crimes with a victim, such as murder, assault, and fraud, etc. This alone alleviates you from all kinds of liabilities stemming from statutes, acts, and codes. Also in step one, we will generate a security agreement between you and your all caps name trust. You will pledge everything you own to the irrevocable private trust and agree to grow and manage the trust. Meanwhile, in exchange, the trust agrees to pay for all your personal expenses, whether it's a cheeseburger at McDonald's, a trip to the dentist, or rent money. Going forward, whether you earn income from your job or a business, it can all go into the trust as a gift for a future beneficiary. In this first step, you also get a hold harmless and indemnity agreement, another level of protection for you and your trustees, so you're not liable for any mistakes you might make in operating the trust. You also get a common law copyright notice of your name, so that anyone trying to use your name in commerce, such as a cop, judge, or even the dog catcher, LOL, is subject to licensing fees of $500K per occurrence. Give them a copy first as a warning. If they try it, they are liable next time. In the USA, one also gets a taxpayer identification number for their all caps name trust from the IRS for banking. We help you check all the right boxes when applying for the EIN. Note, the all caps name and social security number are still yours to utilize, however, so you don't give that up. Now, you operate your all caps name trust as a trustee, but you are separate from it. It's not you any longer. You are no longer a surety for the straw man. Note, driver's license, passport, and professional licenses, all this kind of stuff you use like normal, only now it belongs to your trust. This way you can operate in the world without hassles. You don't have to change these things. Guys, let me know if you want me to do step 2, 3, 4, and 5. Deuces.
Knowledge.
Okay, this is probably the most important video I have ever posted. I transferred my property to my trust in August, and ever since then I've been going back and forth with the county trying to get off the tax roll. This week was my hearing, and basically it was a whole lot of nothing. And what I found out is that they're saying there's not going to be a definite decision until April, when my taxes are due in March. I went ahead and I paid my taxes. But me being me, I decided, okay, I'm going to find out as much information about the county so that I could do a W-4 sandwich or try to do some kind of recoupment process to get my money back. And look at what I found. You guys, look at this. Orange County, Florida government is a pet company. Pause the screen and read what I'm reading. Go and look at this information for yourself. If you don't believe me, look at this. And then that address looked very familiar to me, where they are registered at. And that is the county comptroller. I just came across this information literally within the hour. If all of this is correct, look at what I'm looking at. Then the Orange County comptroller, the Orange County, Florida government is a pet company masquerading as legitimate government charter. Look at the documents. Pause this. See the X where it says Charter County? I have been paying taxes for years to a pet company pretending to be the county, because the county has no authority to tax private property, right? I have a land patent. I've seen that this land is paid for already. Look at this. It's a pet company. Okay, you saw the address on those documents. Now let's go see what's there. Orange County Division of Corporations, Orange County Tax, Orange County Comptroller. All of these governments, buildings, agencies, offices are operating under the EIN of a pet company. I almost can't believe my eyes. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. Somebody tell me I'm crazy. 2 years ago, I went down a rabbit hole very similar about Maryland. I can't even believe this. Let's see if your county is a corporation. And what kind?
Benjamin Franklin said nothing is certain except death and taxes. This is what he meant. Go to the IRS website and pull up publication 6209. I'm going to show you how you're dead in the eyes of taxes. And go to section 4, which is document locator number. And what you're looking for is code 5. Code 5 is information return processing estate and gift tax. Then you're going to go back to this section and you're going to click on section 2, which is tax returns and forms. Now, when you get a job, your employer wants you to fill out a what? A W-4. That is called an employee withholding certificate. Look at that tax class, 5. Look at your W-2, your wage and tax statements, class 5. Social Security benefit statement, class 5. All your 1099s, A through S, class 5. Class 5 is information return processing for estate and gift taxes. Go to the Internal Revenue Manual, look up section 21.7.13.3.2.2 subsection 2. And it says, an infant is the decedent of an estate or grantor, owner, or trustor of trust, guardianship, receivership, custodianship that has yet to receive their social security number. So when you fill out this W-4 form, you're filling out this withholding certificate for your estate. When you get this W-2 form back so you can file your 1040s, this W-2 statement is for the wages and taxes for your estate. And for those who don't know what a decedent is a legal term used to refer to a deceased person, meaning you are dead. And again, if we look right back at the Internal Revenue Manual, it says an infant is the decedent of an estate. And again, these are estate tax forms. If I'm not mistaken, on the 1040, you get a $12,500 exclusion on your income. But if you filed estate tax returns, there's $3 million and some change for exclusion on the estate side, and $1 million and some change for exclusion on the gift side. Read, people, read. And if people were wondering about the master file that the IRS supposedly has, it's called the debtor master file. It does exist, and here are the master file codes that you can go through so you can find out what specific information that you want to request.
If you got something on your credit report and you really want to get it removed by disputing it, you might really want to listen to this. So here's a mistake that I see a lot of people make when using consumer law. Pay attention to this. When disputing certain accounts, you have to know what law verbiage to use for each person, because you can use the wrong law verbiage and get marked as a frivolous account. This is how you address debt collectors, banks, and credit reporting agencies, regardless of what section you're at. Your claim and your argument is that you're always the consumer. You're not the creditor. You're not original creditor. And banks, dealerships, and credit reporting agencies are not debt collectors. All banks and dealerships fall under the Truth in Lending and the FCRA. Therefore, you should never use the FDCPA to identify banks and dealerships at all. The FDCPA is mainly for third-party corporations such as debt collectors. For example, if you're addressing a CRA, a credit reporting agency, you want to be using the FCRA. This would be people like Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. You want to define yourself as a consumer under 15 U.S.C. 1681 AC. Now, this go for banks and dealerships, as far as cars and stuff. If anytime you coming after them, you always want to address yourself as a consumer under 15 U.S.C. 1602 I. 3. This one is very important because this is where everybody make mistakes at. Debt collectors. If you're ever going after a debt collector, you always want to address them with the FDCPA laws and define yourself as a consumer under 15 U.S.C. 1692 A3. The term consumer means any natural person obligated or alleged obligated to pay the debt. And they give you a choice there. Which one are you? Obligated or alleged obligated? So as you can see, the credit reporting agencies, banks, and debt collectors, you're always defined as the consumer and not the original creditor. So you always want to make sure that you send the correct law verbiage to the right person, because you cannot send FDCPA laws to banks or dealerships. They will look at you like you crazy, and your remedy will be dishonor. And you also can be marked as a frivolous account, so be careful.
Ooh, look, I'm hustling. Like I say, have you ever heard about this case? The United States versus United States of America? When they said that it was a deep state of two different groups, One group is the Aborigines, the United States. The other one is a corporation, United States of America, and you can read for yourself, called the Confederation. In order to enslave us, it's called Silver Motus, or black is dead in the eyes of the law, and our name is all caps. But who is slaving us? Joe Biden told you in this paragraph to get back to work. But why is he so worried about you get back to work? It makes no sense, but I'm gonna show you why. It's called wage slavery. And you can read what it is, but it's messed up. But who's benefiting off our wage slavery? Everybody just looking towards Ukraine, but these are the people who get paid every month, and this is the wages they get paid. Here go another list. These are the ones who have time to pray to Allah and pray to the spiritual guys and take care of their kids and walk around their house. And after we go to work at McDonald's, after we go to work and we pay our taxes, these are peoples right here that actually own their land, right? They actually don't know what a mortgage is because they tax us on our mortgage and they make us tenants on our own land. If you look at your mortgage or your deed, it say tenants, not landowner. And how they did it with the black peoples, if you look at this, copper color and Indian defined in the code of 1930, referred to as wage slavery.
To the judge, "Judge, do you have anything you have to tell me?" Judge says, "No." The judge, "Getting payments from the county?" Judge says, "Yes." "Well, Judge, under Canon 3E2, you have to disclose anything that might be relevant to this case, whether you think it's relevant or not." He said, "Well," and Judge, under 3E1, you have to disqualify yourself if you're violating the law. And under Code of Civil Procedure, section 170.1A6 and III, those are three small i's, you're disqualified if a reasonable person thinks that you can't be objective. So, Judge, you're out. Get out of my case. Now, another thing is that if you have a case against the county, or the county was involved even as a witness, and any one of these judges who did this was sitting on that case, under California Code of Civil Procedure 473D, you bring a motion to void out his decision.
How come they could walk into a bar carrying guns, and if two guys got in an argument, they could go out on the street and draw on each other in front of the sheriff's office, and the sheriff would do nothing? How come? How come that men could go out in the street and shoot each other in front of everyone and have nothing be done about it? The reason why is because before 1868, all Americans were considered sovereigns. And that's one of the nice things about being a sovereign, is you have the right to be yourself. Consequently, you need to understand that in one last point I'm going to make, that in 1868 there was a corporation founded, and anyone can incorporate a company. In 1868 there was a company incorporated. And in that particular company, the founders of that company called it, they referred to it as the United States Corporation. And they stipulated that anybody who would be a member of that corporation or work for that corporation would be called not an employee, but a citizen. So today, if you are asked, are you a citizen of the United States? What you think you're being asked is, are you lawfully in this country to do business? That's not lawfully what's being asked. They didn't ask if you were in America lawfully. They asked you a specific question. That is, are you of your own volition, out of your own mouth, testifying that you are a citizen of the United States? Because in that way, citizen of the United States means you are an employee of a foreign corporation operating on international maritime law.
So today, the President of the United States is the president of a privately owned company. The company is called United States, and the word president is always a word that is used at corporate law. Banks have presidents, all companies have presidents, so there's a corporation called United States privately owned, and it has a president. President Biden is not the president of America. President Biden is the president of a privately owned company, privately owned out of England. And you need to understand words and terms.
So you would say, well, I'd like to introduce myself. I am the executor and the sole beneficiary of the estate of Richard Vobes, the legal persona. But I am the executor. And as there is only 3 people that can be in a trust, it means the judge or the prosecutor or the Crown Court, the clerk of the court, is the trustee. The role can switch around depending on who is taken the role, but one of them will have that role. They will in fact have a checkbook ready to pay should you announce who you are. Of course, most people don't, because they don't know, because this is the greatest secret, he said. But once you've announced who you are, and you say, well, I'm the executor of the estate, I'm the executor, I'm the one who controls and administers the top hat. So you're charging this estate the bill of whatever it is, the parking ticket, the inland revenue, the council tax, whatever it is that's not yet been paid. He said, fine, I've no problem paying it. Absolutely. The estate will cough up. Take the money out of the trust. The trust is there. So as the administrator, as the executor, you're the one in charge, because the trustee has to do as you say. And by accepting and admitting and introducing yourself as the executor of the estate and the sole beneficiary, the judge has to be the trustee, and he will have to pay. Well, he won't like that. He'll probably run out of court or say there is no case to answer, because they tend not to like that sort of thing. But that is what it is. You don't need to pay it out of your own money. That's fallacy. You've got this money that's accruing. You can have whatever you like. I said, wow. He said, but they won't like it. And they will do all sorts of things. They will use threats and menaces and potentially try and arrest you and do all sorts of things, because they need you to become the legal persona, the legal person, not a real living.
About to blow your mind. The term white privilege is actually a lie, but it's based off the legal term free white persons. Free white persons is actually a legal status. Status is the rights, duties, capacities, and incapacities which determine a person to a given class. So a free white persons includes Moorish inhabitants, Phoenicians, North Africans, but it does not mean Caucasian race, Aryan race, or Indo-European races, nor the mixed Indo-European. North America, Central America, and South America, and all the islands. What does inherit mean? To take by inheritance, to take as heir on death of ancestor. Book reference. In 1779, your nationality was taken, and you were branded so-called black, colored, etc. So free white persons only applies to Americans, where the proper term race is found by Europeans. Wow.
So if you know the power of an affidavit, unrebutted, it stands as truth. Can't argue with it. Can't deny it. Can't touch it. Can't mess with it. But unless we exercise those rights, then basically we have none. So here you can use in whatever means that you need it to be used in, and exercise those rights in whatever way you deem necessary. Remember to get it notarized, because a notary is actually higher than a judge. So if you go into court, remember to take a notary with you or two and watch what happens. Say goodbye to the case. Peace.